I am Chef Mark barbecuing today for Escoffier Online International Culinary Academy. It's a very exciting time of year when you get to clean your barbecue, learn how to use it, how to grill, how to oil it, how to season and marinate a steak. So we're going to have fun right away. I'm going to show you how to get your grill ready for the summer season. And nothing better than making sure that your grill was covered with a cloth in your garage or some space through the winter. And then the next step is to make sure how to clean the grill. Stainless steel polish is great for the outside of your grill. And then, of course, the next step is to clean the inside. And what I like to do is take a mean green cleaner and then spread it inside and scrub all the surfaces. Now I have it on, so that's going to burn a lot of that carbon off. So I use a detergent to clean it. And now I'm just going to brush off some of the burnt carbon. You see it's coming off, so as it heats up, you're able to scrape off. Get yourself a new brush. Don't use the one from last year, all worn out. Not that expensive. What I like to do then is just take a little oil over that. And I just use inexpensive salad oil because there's carbon dust on there, right? See that? So you want to wipe that off. So the grill's on. I have two of the burners on, two of the burners off. I'm going to close the hood again. Now, while that's heating up, how to use your grill is an important thing to realize. And I have, as many people do, with a gas Weber grill, is put two burners on high, and one medium and one off. That way, as you put your meats, remember, lay your meats out right to left, then you'll know which ones you put on first, right? Turn them over. And as they cook, push them to the off section. Many times, people use this device back here, right, to keep sausages and bratwursts, to keep them warm. So that can be used as a warming device with this turned off. So using your grill is important. Have high, medium, and lower off heat. The next thing is what tools to use. And I picked up some nice Weber tools, which I like to use. Of course, their brush is wonderful. Has the polyprene handle. Be mindful when you buy tools, if you get the polyprene handle, they will not heat up as much as the metal tools do. But you'll want to have, a device to grab the food. The chicken thighs or breasts are important with this device, right? Little teeth to pick them up from the grill, turn them over. You want to have they're sort of like large tongs that one can use, turn the burgers over, or again to move chicken or brats. We have that. Then you want to have a fork, large fork, because a grill like that can be very hot, especially over hot coals. You want to have a long fork. And of course, a hamburger turner. All right, now you're going to want to know how to marinate your steaks. Find a container suitable. I have a great mixture of Italian dressing, and I use Dr. Pepper. It's a great, has a nice tangy, a citric acid note, a little root beer root note to it. I like to add that to my Italian dressing. Let that marinate just a few hours. You don't want to put a ribeye steak overnight because the acid will tend to discolor and toughen the meat. This marinade also had salt in it. It's just your basic Tuscan Italian dressing with some Dr. Pepper root beer in it. Let that sit 3 or 4 hours. What that's going to do is give it more flavor because the ribeye already is tender. Now, many people ask, how do I season a steak? Well, the most important part is when you season a steak is to make sure it's perfectly dry. You can wash the meat if you like, pat it dry. You need to use some salt. I like to use sea salt. The steak is perfectly dry. I put the sea salt, and this is the fine sea salt. I prefer that since it's natural. Don't be afraid to liberally season the steak, all right? And pat that in. Some people put a little oil to allow the salt to adhere, right? So we'll turn it over. And I have just a little olive oil to adhere to the steak. Just very light. We're not put a lot of oil on it. And then don't be afraid to salt it. Lots of meat, the salt will absorb in it, give it great flavor. So that's a properly seasoned steak. So now, how to oil your grill. So once it's clean, you're going to oil it a second time prior to putting meat on it. We already did the first oil that removed a lot of the grease, a lot of the carbon. Still, a lot of carbon will come off. The purpose of the oiling the grill is so that the meat doesn't stick, and to remove a lot of the carbon buildup, which is the reason why I put it on there. So with your salted steak, you'll want to place it on. This is probably one of the best steaks to use for barbecue. It's the ribeye, boneless ribeye. It's very tender. Of course, the filet is tender, but the filet is very thick, and if you're not careful, you'll make a filet mignon 3 to 4 inches in height a bit tough. It'll be a bit burnt. So it's always nice to have a steak, a ribeye steak, because it's a little thinner. And depends on the cut. There could be a large intramuscular fat cap, which there is in this one. So we oil the grill, and we're going to put it right on there to cook. Now with the marinade, it's very important that you remove all that marinade because that burns. Do not put products on the grill with the marinade. The marinade burns off, so marinade is just for flavor. And since there's some oil in there, it won't stick to the grill. All right, so here we are with our medium steak. So we put on the grill on moderate high heat. Let's put on our carving board. All right. Now, how do you know when to turn the steak over? When the blood starts to rise on one side, that's indication to turn the steak over. Let's press and see. So that is a firm texture. That is firm. That's a medium steak. That means it'll have a warm center. Pink warm center. That's a medium steak. So you're going to cook your steak. It's going to come off the grill, and you're going to want to rest it. And they go, well, what is resting? Well, you can see there's still some liquid coming to the surface because the heat pushes the liquid from the center up. Some people call it blood, though it's not blood. That has to rest. It is still seeping up the moisture from the steak. That needs to rest before I carve it. If I cut it right now, some of that liquid or blood comes out and makes the steak dry. So let the steak rest at least 5 minutes before you give it to your guests, before they tear into it. And that's important to rest your steak. Today we're looking at our barbecue, and it's important during that time of year to avoid cross-contamination. You're going to have raw chicken, you're going to have raw ground meat, right? Salmonella, E. coli. Important to realize that whatever dish or platter or casserole that you've brought the raw chicken with or on to your grill, and whatever plate you've brought with your raw hamburger meat, that once you put your meat onto the grill, these dishes should be brought somewhere so they can be washed. You don't want to put the cooked meat or the cooked chicken back on the raw chicken or raw meat plate. And that's important to be safe. What I like to use is I put my steaks on the little cutting board, and everyone knows that's where they serve them from. So that's a great tip for you. Nice wooden cutting board. Your burgers and steaks can be put on there and served to your guests. So now we're ready to serve our steaks. We've let them rest. They grill beautifully. And to serve them, you'll want to, you can give one whole steak to one person, but they'll probably want to have half of it or less. So I like to carve it nice, in half at least. This nice medium steak, warm center, pink. That's a medium steak. And then you can serve your guests if you want to carve it so they don't eat too much meat. So there's how to serve your steak. Beautiful. The fat you can trim off, but the nice thing about a ribeye steak is some of the fat has great flavor. Not to discount that.